listening to the Betmaker Show. This is the golf preview for Monday, November 4th, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Betmaker Show, Brian Blessing.
All right, folks, here we go. One of our favorite segments. We talk golf and the opportunity to hit the home run, swing for the fences. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas, north of the border. He's the raging redhead, our good buddy Cam Stewart. Well, if you listened to the podcast last week, Cam, we got you close. He said, Shoffley, look out. And isn't it amazing how in sports, historically, athletes play great when they're sick? I mean, Shoffley had the flu. It's true. I kept watching all weekend long. He's coughing into his shirt, at the end of the round. And if I was playing with him at the end of the round, I'd be like sticking my elbow out. I wouldn't be shaking the guy's hand. I'd be taking a Perel bath. Make everybody around it. But no, he played great. Birdie's 18, forced a playoff. And the first bad drive the guy hit all day came on the playoff hole. And he almost forced a second. It was a great tournament, but McIlroy, the chalk wins. We don't like when the chalk wins.
No, we don't. We hate the chalk, and and Rory's good. If you look at the results, Brian, he's basically every tournament the top 10 machine, closer to top 5. He's in great form. I'm just not betting a player at 6-1. We had Shoffley as back-to-back second places. The week before, I had Hideki, who got beat down by Tiger. So back-to-back runner-ups. You could still make some money. Had him in the top 10s and 5s, but it's just not the same. You're thinking they're big score. And Rory McIlroy is unbelievable. Like, they talk about the luck of the Irish. The guy drives it. He thinks it's in the water. It's 1 foot away from the hazard. And what else is new? He's not in the water. It just seems to always be that way against us. I'm like, really? I go, it's not in the water? Oh, okay. He's safe?
I watched that too. And I'm
unbelievable,
like, you're kidding me.
That goes in the water. Shoffley wins the tournament. We're sitting here celebrating with extra dough in our pocket. That's golf.
It is golf. I will say this, knock on wood, did really well in the matchups, and it's hard to pick the winner of a golf tournament. But the head-to-head matchups, Cam, there are guys, I mean, it's golf, but you can use all the same premises you use in team sports. And like Matsuyama, to me, was a fade, and it was Shoffley against Matsuyama. Matsuyama playing great in Japan, fighting Tiger for 4 days. How could he have anything left in the tank? Then there's a guy like, honestly, form can be so fleeting. Tommy Fleetwood's an automatic fade right now. He is a mess. It's amazing how golf, the good form comes and goes.
Yeah, it's true. And I was hoping that Ian Poulter would be in this event so I can fade him too. He's really hit the skids. Tommy Fleetwood, it's not used to seeing him at the bottom of leaderboards. Hey, man, Brian, it's like life. He's got a wife now. He's a playboy. Everyone in England loves the guy, one of the best players in the world. I'm starting to think that, a lot of these guys, young guys, they make their money, and their wives kind of say, you know what, do you need to grind this much? We're doing pretty well right now. You were a top runner-up in many major tournaments there. The guy finishes high, gets a lot of bread, and now what's he doing? He's living the life. I don't think he's working on his game as much personally, and these are things to attack. Like, they don't really tell you when you're watching Golf Channel, wow, this guy's a single loser who just hands out by himself, and all he does is work on his golf game. You know what I mean? Like, they don't tell you the background stories a lot of the time of what a guy's doing. But I can tell you, Tommy Fleetwood, since he's been married, I've kind of noticed the game's kind of tailed off. He's more of a family man first. Nothing wrong with that. That's great. I tell you to live your life, but we're looking to make money on the golf course there. And we got to take those guys that are a little bit hungrier. And right now he looks like a guy that's just very happy in his own skin with a family and still making money playing golf.
All right. And the PGA Tour basically is taking a break. Brendan Todd won the Bermuda tournament, and honestly, God, it had no.
I used to bet that guy years ago. Then he faded away.
Well, talk about fading away. He had a chance to shoot a ridiculous. He shot 62 and won for fun in the final round. He was on such a birdie tear, and he was flagging. But the amazing thing about golf is, and I always say this, ball striking. Tom Watson could have chased Jack Nicklaus's numbers. But for like a decade, the poor guy had the yips. right? I mean, ball striking, Tom Watson, maybe the best ball striker ever, but it's amazing aspects of the game that come and go. This kid, Brendan Todd, he was going to quit the game, seriously quit the game. He was like Judge Smales at Bushwood, and he had the swing yips. He could putt, he could chip, and he hit his driver, but his mid-irons, they were talking about this on the broadcast yesterday. He was like 50 yards left or 50 yards right, and it's just your brain, your hands quit at the point of impact. And, it's all between the ears. That's how crazy this game is when the guy's fought all the way back, and now he's got a PGA card for 3 years. He's happy as a clam. But golf, the form can come and go like in an instant.
You said it, man. I look at guys. Danny Willett won the Masters, faded away. He's grinded back. He did it actually quickly. Lee Westwood, a guy that we talked about before. This guy was one of the best players in the world not to win a major. Went to like almost 400 in the world. The guy couldn't make a cut anymore. He's losing his mind. He's back in business now. It took years and years and years for these guys, a lot of them, to get back in. Yeah, golf's different, man. If your brain and body aren't working on the same page, you got big problems. And that's why we ride the hot hand, right, Brian? There's some guys that we see on the leaderboards all the time, and hopefully we can get a little bit of value this week in this tournament. The Turkish Airlines Open, the PGA Tour guys are taking a little bit of a break, but when I look at the field, there's just some quality, and some guys from the PGA Tour sticking around trying to make some more Euros at this event.
Well, here's a double-edged sword. Justin Rose is the favorite at 8-1.
Yep.
He's won this tournament back-to-back years. So he's trying to be a 3-time defending champ. We just saw Schauffele step up to the plate trying to defend in China. So clearly it's a course that suits the guy's eye, but his form is kind of sketchy. The guy I want to say I'm all in on with a monster opportunity, Cam, is Patrick Reed at 11-1, but, and there's a but, he on Sunday, if you watch the final round, the only other story than Schauffele and McIlroy, Patrick Reed was incredible in the final round. Well, the story is Tiger's making his President's Cup picks. Tiger's going to pick himself. Gary Woodland probably, because he played 3 days with him in China and he played well. But Patrick Reed, who's great at match play, had to show some form, and he was amazing on Sunday, and I'd be all in on him. The problem is Tiger's making the President's Cup picks Wednesday. So if he gets named, he's on the team. Maybe the pressure's off, but he's in good form and he goes nuts. Or if he gets snubbed, and we know how volatile this guy can be, but current form, Patrick Reed to me.
Yeah, Patrick Reed is a guy that we talk about, a bulldog. He's also one of those guys on tour. Does he really care? Like, he doesn't care about other guys. He doesn't hang with the get along gang. He's already married. He's got his brother-in-law on the bag, right? It used to be the girl that he married. Patrick Reed's, he's a different cat, right? He's a very emotional guy, and I wish we were getting more than 11-1, but when I look at that leaderboard, he's one of the first guys that I look at, Brian. He does have great in match play. He basically beats you down. He takes everything personally, and I like that. You need that type of bulldog character. And I like that. I like Patrick Reed for that. 11-1 though, it's he should be more around the 16-1 range. Obviously, the books, they know something there. Another guy that I'm looking at price, it's going down, but he is always hanging around. Brian, this Matthias Schwab guy, watch out for him. Every single week, he's popping up on leaderboards, top 10s. He's there, along with Robert McIntyre, the Scot. Like, a lot of these guys, like this Schwab kid, I'm watching him, man. He is real close. 28-1. I was hoping to get something along the lines of 35 or 40 where Eddie Pepperell is, but I really like Matthias Schwab's game. The Austrian looks good to me, and I'm going to be riding him a lot. He's a guy that's turning into an upper echelon player that people don't really know about.
I just like hearing you say it, but this time of year, isn't this where Martin Keimer's
Mr. Keimer? Martin Keimer, I like birdies. He's a nice guy, actually. I met him at Augusta. Really cool dude. Chicks like Martin Keimer, too, because he's kind of like, big, tall guy, good-looking guy. I know he seemed like a real chill dude. Martin Keimer, you never know what you're going to get with him, Brian. Like, when he's in contention, he wins. And then sometimes he could just, fade away. He's one of those guys. But if he's close, he knows how to close the door. That's the thing, right? That's why we like Martin Keimer. There's certain guys that you have in contention. You're like, do you really believe he can get the job done? I know he could be a top 5 guy. Like we talked about Sun Jae Im and all these other guys knocking on the door every single week. can you knock it down? But Martin Keimer has. He said, you know what I mean? Major winner. Plays good on tough courses. The only time when he didn't win before, he had like a blister problem that kind of affected him. Martin Keimer's world class. His form right now, kind of mediocre, but at 40-1, he's definitely a guy you keep your eye on.
Betmaker, let's make some money tonight.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today, simply by going to the website at betmaker.com. Cam, I think I'm reading this right. And, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the prices and I'm looking at a guy, and then I'm looking at this field, which is not the greatest field you'll ever see. It's not bad. It's a big tournament. It's the Race to Dubai thing. And I'm sitting there going, Nicholas Colsaerts, 80-1. I go, just knowing what the guy's capable of.
Win?
So then as you're talking, giving me your last answer, I'm like, what about Colsaerts? And I go to the EuropeanTour.com and I search players and I hit Nicholas Colsaerts and I look, he won his last tournament. How the hell is he 80-1?
Yeah, Nicholas Colsaerts too. He's another guy. Fits the mold. Faded away for a while, didn't know what was going on. Thing about him was he's a bomber before bombers. Like, people talked about Dustin Johnson, like Colsaerts murders the ball, hacking his darts out there. Like you, Brian, having a good time. I'm playing golf. I don't need to work out. Smoke him if you got him. But I'll tell you something. Nicholas passed the Abreva Colsaerts. Here is, he's got golf game now. So watch out. 80-1. I will definitely be taking a flyer. And that's the thing. You know what, Blessing? Like, once these guys win and they get a taste again, it's kind of like, okay, I'm back on the train. Like, you start to think, okay, I got my woman here. I can make a lot of money. Like, they see their windows of time. It's like, okay, I won this tournament. I'm going to finish high here. They know, because golf is fleeting, right? So it's one of those games. It's like, get it while you got it. And right now, Nicholas Colsaerts looks like he has his A game, and at 80-1 is an extremely good price. Good find.
I got one more for you, and I know we briefly discussed him, but we're all in on this tournament because the PGA's taking a powder. But a guy that we had just talked about, and he finished third in the Alfred Dunhill Links, had a bad Italian Open, had a bad round in the Portugal Masters, but in the other round shot 69, 66, 67. He finished tied 14th. How about Joachim Lagergren?
What was it? A new beer? What'd you say?
You knew him, the Joachim Lagergren.
Joachim Lagergren. 80-1.
I get
Joachim Lagergren. Yes. Is it a lager?
Is it a beer? Is it a beer?
The first 5 names. His last name is Lager, and that's a beer. I don't know what a Gren is, but Joachim Lager. Gren seems like, Welcome, Gren. 80-1. Yes. Wow. Our barley friend at 80-1 seems like that's a very, very generous price for a guy that's trending upwards. You're right. As I look at the leaderboard in this tournament, I'm seeing a lot of guys starting at Hansen at 66-1 and going up to like Ross Fisher at 90. Some of these bombs, I think, are in better play than some of these guys at 45 and 50-1, Brian. Like Andy Sullivan, I'm not going to be taking him, even though he can play. Yeah, I like some of the guys in your range a little bit deeper. I think we can maybe find some guy in the pack, 60-1 plus. I like it.
Rest would be a factor for this guy. Our boy Kiradek is 45-1. He's too flighty for me. The one guy at 30-1, and I was kicking myself for long stretches of the weekend, going, "You idiot." And then, you're watching him going, he can be an amazing golfer, but there's always that hole out there where, forget the snowman, like a double-digit holes out there. Ha-Tong Lee, he can play so many longs, and then he does something so stupid. He gets too emotional, Cam. He makes a great putt. He gets all fired up, and then all of a sudden it's like the club goes off in his hands.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when you look at Ha-Tong Lee, one of the guys who faced Rory McIlroy in a match play situation and has beat him before. He has the game, the world class game, 30-1. Yes, a top 12 pick on the leaderboard here. But that's the problem with these guys in golf. Like, I'd rather take a steady Eddie instead of a guy that goes low and then blows up. And yeah, it's weird. You see Hoa-Tong Lee in tournaments, and then on the weekend I check him, Brian, he's just like faded down. It's just one of those things. A lot of guys do that. It's very, very hard to put 4 rounds together, but I won't be taking him at that price at 30-1. Even though he's great, I'm going to have to avoid him.
All right, we'll wrap it up here on this front. But I'll throw one at you, bud. One more nice little price play in terms of your surroundings and saying, hey, I belong and I'm on the big stage. And he shot 72 in the final round, but going in to the final round in China, he was 5th, dropped and finished 8th. How about Paul Waring? He had a nice tournament in China coming over here. I mean, the travel. I mean, if we're giving travel for Patrick Reed. I mean, there's a nice price on Paul Waring, who's like, hey, I can play with these guys.
What's his price right now, Paul Waring?
50.
Where's he at? 50? Oh, last week he was there. When you know what I mean? When Roy, he was there, Brian. No, that's a great price. I will play Paul Waring. My eyes are tricking me, deceiving me there.
Well, you're looking up Lagergren.
Yeah, I'm looking out. Can I buy some Lagergren at the liquor store?
A case.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Paul Waring, a guy that kind of goes off the radar, right? Like, remember we talked about Bazette and Hout and a couple of these other guys. That's the beautiful thing about the European Tour. If you're a golf bettor, just pay attention because these guys pop up all the time and we don't get to see them often. But Paul Waring has been he's in great form, Brian. 50-1 is actually a nice price for a guy that was competing with Schauffele and Rory and right there in that tournament for a very strong finish. So, yeah, 50-1 is a good price.
This is why I love this, bud. I mean, we're sitting here. This is the only game in town now this week. But let's try to cash in. And, hey, listen, from a current form perspective, Waring was T3 at the Alfred Dunhill Links, and he just finished 8th in the WGC event. Current form, man, I think we found something here.
I think so, too. I think I'm going to make the bets. I'm not sure if I could pull the trigger with Reed, Brian, but 3 guys I will be betting on. I'll be betting on Matthias Schwab at 28-1. I'm also going to look at Paul Waring. Great call by you at 50-1. His current form is too strong at that price. He should be around 33 with Noren. He's not. 50-1.
He should be lower than Eddie Pepperell. He should be lower than Andy Sullivan, right?
That's what I'm saying. Those guys are 33 and 35-1, and Sullivan's 45. So we're going to go with him. And my last pick, you're right, man. It's cold outside. Chapped lips. Past the Abreva coal sorts. Nicholas Coal sorts. Blisters and smokes. He's got coal sores and smokes.
If he wins, the trophy's a big jar of lysine.
Yeah. I love this guy, though, Brian. You say it. Now he's back, right? Just hacking darts and smiling on his face and making more euros. 80-1. I think he has to be played at that price. I guess if you're going to look for do you have a true bomb for us? I was going to say real deep. I would probably go with the likes of a Benjamin Herbert, 140-1, something along those lines. He's pretty good.
David Lipsky sighting.
David Lipsky. Yeah, I bet on Lipsky a couple times. He has good rounds, but he can't get it together for 4. But yeah, I've even taken Sean Crocker at 160-1. The guy's not bad. Like, he can get you T18 or whatever, but it's hard for these guys to win. But yeah, I think we'll stick with our guy. I'll pack it in at the 80 mark with coal sorts.
We'll wrap it up with this. I was just looking to see if there's any chance for Thorbjorn Olsen to piss on the competition. I don't see.
I'm lifting my leg. Yeah, that's right. Hey, baby, what's up? I'm Thorbjorn Olsen. Can I piss on you? Like, what's up with this guy? Like, you just get on a flight and just get annihilated and start leaking? Like, there's lavatories, And he lost a lot. That guy lost his mind. Unbelievable. He's a good player, too.
Yeah, well, listen, these guys make a lot of money. They do fine dining. And the bottom line is Thorbjorn Olsen goes to a 5-star steakhouse and has a urinal cake for dessert.
when Ian Poulter's trying to shake you down in the plane as the voice of reason, I'm not sure how that friendship's going. Like, that's great. Ian Poulter's go, whoa, Torbjorn, slow down.
Oh, if I'm sitting three rows behind these guys, I'm going, who's flying this thing? All right, man. All right, it's the Turkish Open.
Yeah, Turkish Open.
What is the? I've never done it. What's the smoking thing through the tube?
The bong. The hookah.
Hookah.
Yeah, the Turkish Airlines Hookah Open. Torbjorn Olesen.
Everybody out there, they're smoking the hookahs. They'll all be out there looking like the one episode of Seinfeld with Kramer when he was smoking his cigars and his skin looked like a Wilson football.
Exactly. Creepy leather. Yeah, it's great, man. I've been to Morocco once, Brian. It was quite a scene. Like, I was walking through the market and I go, wow, there's a lot of dead chickens in the corner there, blood all over the wall, and their necks are broken. I don't think I'll be ordering the 2-piece. It was crazy. Nice spices though. Saffron's expensive. Anyway, that's my experience in Morocco. Pam Stewart's travels.
And there's our golf experience for the week. Well, that's the Betmaker Show for now. We publish multiple times each week. We'd like to thank you for listening, and if you liked what you heard, please take a moment to leave a rating and review, or subscribe to our show feed, or share our show with a friend or two and help us grow the show. We very much appreciate it. Visit us on the web at betmaker.com, and reminder to sign up for the newsletter. Thanks to our engineer, Darren Vandermolen, and producer, Mike Gallivan. The Betmaker Show is a production of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated. Betmaker is a registered trademark. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this content without the express written consent of Cardinal Marketing Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and/or interpersonal relationships. At Betmaker.com and The Betmaker Show, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling. An approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.